Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Madeline.
We launched a podcast last week.
That was crazy.
I cannot believe the amount of love, support, shares, downloads we've gotten.
I mean, I've been so overwhelmed, and I'm just so excited because it means that there are people out there who love sports gossip as much as we do.
I feel like we're creating like a little community of Wikipedia personal life section hive or something. I don't know. We need a nickname.
We do need a nickname. If anybody has any ideas. Also, we added video.
Oh,
someone was like,
okay,
can we have a video of it? And we were like, okay. And somehow put that together. Shout out to my husband, Tyler, who's an actual producer.
I think every episode needs a husband shout out.
Yeah. Well, they're being really good husbands.
They are.
We could do a sports gossip episode about our husbands.
100%.
But it would be boring because they're great.
Yeah. We're more interesting.
Yeah.
Alone. Just kidding. No, we love our husbands.
They're the best. Also, something that's been very moving to me is that, like, without anybody behind this, the amount of downloads we've gotten has been really staggering, which means that people are telling their friends about it.
Yeah.
Which is, if you have friends that you think would like this, please keep sharing, keep inviting them in. This is a show for everybody. As we said in the first episode, we're not going to make anyone feel dumb.
No, never. And please keep spreading the word, the good word of sports gossip.
The gossip gospel.
The gossip gospel. Okay, that's interesting.
That's not bad. We'll talk about that after we record.
Okay, interesting.
The gospel of gossip.
Okay.
Sports gossip.
The gospelers.
The gosport.
That sounds like a startup that has an ad in the subway for, I think it's like a activewear brand or something. The Gosport.
Or like the energy goo people.
Yeah. Or that guy who made that new energy bar. You know that one? It's like called
Soylent?
No. I mean, energetically, I think it's like Soylent. I've been served TikToks of people getting it. It's called David, I think.
Wait, the bar?
The name of the bar, I believe, is called David. I don't know if the man who founded it is also named David, but he also, I believe, founded RX Bar that are in every checkout line of every Whole Foods you've ever been to.
Starting a clothing company and being like, this is my clothes, Sheila.
I mean, I would also...
Not a bad name.
Purchase an energy drink or bar.
This is my sofa, Matthew.
That's a little weird. I don't know about that. Anyways,
we have a lot of gossip to get to.
Yes, we do.
What should we start with? I mean, there's so much.
There's so much. I feel like you need to give me the rundown of the LeBron Bronny media day.
Oh my God,
updates.
Madeline. Okay, so first of all, it is really crazy that an NBA player is on the same team as his son.
Wild.
LeBron James and LeBron James Jr. are on the same team. Now, LeBron James Jr., who is referred to as Bronny, will not be on the Lakers probably to start. He's going to spend time with the G League, with the practice squad.
So he's not going to be like a bench warmer at...
I mean, he could be
Crypto Arena, which is Staples Center. Let's be real.
Yeah, I will never call it.
I don't know why I even just said it as someone who lived in LA for almost a decade. It's Staples Center.
It's the Staples Center.
It's never Crypto
It will
Arena.
always be the Staples. Yeah. And you know what? The new Clippers Arena might also be the Staples Center.
Ooh, interesting.
Makes
not the Intuit Dome.
I mean, dome.
Yeah, that's weird. Doesn't work.
I guess it's sort of a dome. But yeah, so Bronny, I mean, he might be. He could be. We don't really know. He's not, he's there. He's there. He's not there because he's LeBron's son. But it was very cute the way that they were. It was actually much cuter than I expected it to be.
Okay.
LeBron and Bronny at Media Day. They were joking around. Someone was like, are you going to ride together? Because he still lives at home. Bronny still lives with his dad.
Hilarious, but also tracks.
Yeah, right. And Bronny was like, no, I need all the time I can get away from this man. But in a jokey, cute way. And also, LeBron said that his wife, Savannah, who also happens to be Bronny's mother, has never played NBA 2K, which is a video game that I have also never played.
I've never played it, but that is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
If you're married to LeBron?
Yeah, I guess. Or if you're just like, I can't have anything to do with your nonsense. But she played NBA 2K as her son.
Okay, that's cute.
Which is pretty adorable.
I like that. I do feel like having Bronny on the same team as LeBron is like when a teacher's kid is in your class. a teacher at your school, their child also is enrolled at the school, it feels like the same vibe. Like, it's kind of cute and fun. And you're also like, are they getting special treatment on tests? Like, maybe they're, moving up the ranks.
Wait, Madeline, that is so...
in the G League. I'm really trying to go deep on this one.
No, that is so accurate.
It feels like that's what it is.
I've been trying to pinpoint what it feels like because when you're like, when the teacher's kid is in your class and you're like, well, what are you going to call? Are you going to call him mom? Are you going to call him like Miss Smith?
Right.
And they're like, I actually don't know what they went with. But LeBron vehemently said this summer that Bronny will not be calling him dad.
Right. Which I feel like is the right choice.
I think so too, but like in the heat of the moment, if like Bronny does start playing and he's just like, Dad, I'm up, like,
right. Or
you have to train yourself not to call your dad.
True. And also I feel like if LeBron is getting mad, like let's say Bronny makes it through the G League, and then is there another step, or just like graduate the G League?
Yeah, he would be back in the...
Okay, then he's like sitting on the bench. But let's say he gets in for like, I don't know what, 45 seconds?
Yeah, at the end of a game. Garbage time.
That's what it's called?
At the end of a game, when you're up by so much that you put the players in who never play, that's called garbage time.
I like that.
Isn't that a great name?
Yeah. Good nickname.
Yeah.
But we can't use it for our show.
No.
But I feel like if LeBron gets mad and like Bronny misses an easy layup or something,
yes,
do you think he's going to yell at him like he would if he was getting in trouble at home?
Oh my
like,
God.
Because LeBron, I feel like has a lot of energy on the court, right? He gets kind of feisty.
He's
sometimes.
animated.
He's animated, yes.
Yeah, I could see him yelling at Bronny the way he would yell at him at home, because I think that's how he yells at his other teammates. Not because Bronny's his son, but because like that's LeBron's default.
Interesting.
Because they could all be his son. He's going to be 40 years old in December.
He is just dad.
He's dad. Oh my God, Madeline, this is what it is. Everyone was like, what is Bronny going to call LeBron James?
Yeah.
Everybody should just call LeBron James dad.
Okay, yes.
And then it gets rid of Bronny's problem.
Yes.
And LeBron James is just dad.
It's just dad, and it's just like his nickname for everyone.
Yeah, dad, 2-3.
Wait, it kind of is like, okay, I think this is, if I would get this right,
okay,
I would be impressed with myself. Isn't there a Miami Heat player? Well, doesn't play for them anymore. Udonis Haslem, who kind of became like the dad, chaperone, moral supporter.
Yes.
I mean, he was not as good as LeBron is at his age, the same age.
Right.
But do you think he could maybe take on some of that energy, even though LeBron at this point is still doing quite well in his career, whereas Udonis Haslem was
Udonis Haslem was like was pretty much just on the bench, but everybody would freak out if he did get in at the end of a game. Right. But yes, that same energy, except that LeBron James's stats are basically last year they were basically the same as the first year he was in the league. Is that insane?
That is wild.
I'm 35. I just found out I have arthritis in my back, and LeBron James is out here still dunking.
That is
want to feel
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I know.
It truly is like shocking.
Anytime I see him on the court, it really, and it's not sad. Like Aaron Rodgers right now for the Jets, little sad.
Little sad.
Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, he's maybe 40, almost 40.
I think so.
He looks like a grown man dressed up in a football costume to take his son trick-or-treating.
Stop.
That's what I think every time I see him. That might be mean, but like also Aaron Rodgers is weird.
He's a weird dude. It honestly reminds me of, there was a video of Peyton Manning wearing his Tennessee Vols. I think they're the Vols.
Yeah.
Outfit, uniform, fit check. His outfit. I'm going to start saying that about a uniform.
Okay. Because
it's an outfit.
Teams are
companies.
Professional teams are companies. Uniforms are
just an outfit. He might as well just be going to Joseph A. Bank and getting a suit for his job in the NFL.
100%.
That's the equivalent.
Yes.
Men's Warehouse. I mean, you're going to like the way you look. We guarantee it, says Rodrigo Day in the uniforms.
You really cracked me up today.
Thanks. But I do feel like him wearing that Vols outfit, walking into some country concert. I don't even remember.
Oh, Morgan Wallen.
Yes.
Which,
yeah,
but he did it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He did it, but he looked like how Aaron Rodgers looks playing, because Peyton Manning doesn't play anymore,
right?
And because he's older. He's got other stuff to do.
How old is Peyton Manning?
I think he's got to be like 45, 44.
I feel like me. Oh no, I'm gonna guess 47 because Cooper, his older brother, is 50.
Okay,
and I know this.
Why do you know this?
Because there's a docket on our list today that you put in. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, Peyton Manning.
We'll talk about the Mannings later.
Peyton Manning.
I feel like he's 45. That's my guess.
He's 48.
Wow. Okay. Split the difference.
He looks pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, I feel like in that Tennessee uniform,
yes,
he looked like Aaron Rodgers did playing when I watched that game on Sunday.
Yeah. If anyone missed it, it was 9-10 Jets Broncos in the pouring rain. And I saw someone tweet, I forget who tweeted this, so forgive me, but I saw someone tweet when at one point Aaron Rodgers is sitting on the bench and he just puts a towel over his head and looks so dejected. And someone was like, welcome to being a New York Jet.
Yeah.
The New York Jets are just so bad.
Ugh.
And their fans are still so hopeful.
They're committed. You know what? I praise them for the commitment.
Same.
Because not everyone is that committed to their job or company.
Or you know what's weird though? Our analogy right now of teams being companies, is it would be like if like Deutsche Bank had a lot of fans. If there were people like lining up wearing the same like the same vest that said Deutsche Bank and standing outside.
Interesting. Maybe it's like
is Deutsche Bank still around, or is that like
I don't know. I don't know anything about finance, but I believe you. I do feel like maybe the equivalent would be people who follow a company on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. Done.
The NFL fans are the equivalent of when someone follows a company on LinkedIn and likes posts that are like way too long, way too inspirational for a post about like your KPI updates.
I don't even know what that is.
I couldn't tell you. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay. Ooh, this is a fun one.
Okay, so I texted you about this, but there's been a lot of Knicks trade drama.
Yes.
And I don't understand it because let me tell you what I understand about this.
Tell me what you get.
There's kind of like a group of guys who play for the Knicks and they're all pals from college. Mm-hmm. I don't remember they have a nickname. A Nick name.
Yeah. This podcast is over.
That was pretty good.
Okay, it's time to go.
And they're breaking up the gang. The gang is not getting back together fully. Or some of them are, they kind of got back together, but then now they're breaking up because of a trade.
Yes. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay, explain that context for people maybe who are listening who don't understand.
So in 2016 and 2018, Villanova, a college, won the men's March Madness tournament. And 4 players from those combined teams were on the Knicks this summer. And I say were this summer because last year you had Jalen Brunson, who is the star of the Knicks.
Yeah.
You had Dante DiVincenzo, who played a lot more minutes once a bunch of other people got hurt. You have Josh Hart. And then Mikal Bridges was also their teammate, but he played in Brooklyn. Okay. And Josh Hart all season long would tweet at him, be like, come over the bridge, like make all these jokes about it. He's a real jokester. And Mikal would be like, dude, I'm just like trying to play basketball. But then Mikal Bridges got traded to the Knicks during the day of the draft, I believe.
Okay, yes.
And they called them the Nova Knicks because there were 4 guys from Villanova who had won championships together on this Knicks team, which is really wild.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Like your 4 friends from college, I think they were roommates at one point. Like Dante was in Jalen Brunson's wedding, which if we had had this podcast at the time, we would have had a whole lot of fun with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's weddings 2 summers ago. But anyway, but then
what?
On Saturday,
yes,
we got news that Dante DiVincenzo and another player for the Knicks, Julius Randle, who'd been hurt for a lot of last season, were shipped off to Minnesota in exchange for the Timberwolves player Karl-Anthony Towns, who is known as Cat because those are his initials.
I mean, is that a good nickname? It feels a little lazy of a nickname.
It is.
We got to come up with something better for Mr. Carl.
I mean, but it's his name to the point that like I forget his name is Carl.
So people. Okay, so people apologize to the nickname. Well, so people only call him.
Wait,
Cat?
Now this is his real nickname.
Damn, that's true.
Yeah, people call him Cat.
Okay, but more importantly, here's what I know about Karl-Anthony Towns.
Okay,
aka Cat.
Can't wait for this.
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog.
Remember that show on Nickelodeon? Was that on Nickelodeon?
Yeah. What? Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
No. That was a separate. Wait.
Cat Dog was its own show.
I think that was a separate show. Someone's going to correct us.
Someone can tell us.
But what I know about Karl-Anthony Towns is that he has been dating Jordyn Woods.
Wait, what?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Jordyn Woods. And let me get my facts right about this.
Who's Jordyn Woods again?
Okay, so Jordyn Woods is the former best friend of Kylie Jenner. But I would argue they're now friends again because they've been posting in social media together.
Right.
And in February of 2019, she made waves, I guess you could say, or made waves on the latest episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay.
She was spotted allegedly kissing Tristan Thompson.
Jordyn Woods was.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And
wait, this is all coming back to me now.
Yes. So Jordyn Woods was kissing Tristan Thompson.
Okay.
And if you know, Tristan Thompson has, I believe, 2 kids.
Yes.
With Khloe Kardashian.
Yes.
Kylie Jenner's sister.
Oh my gosh, it's messy.
So it was a whole thing, and they had a huge falling out at the time. It obviously played out on the show. What we saw on the show that was true, unclear, because it is reality television after all. But when I saw that he was traded, I was like, that is my context of this man.
Wait, so how long have Jordyn Woods and Cat Dog been dating?
Cat Dog. They have been dating since May of 2020.
Wait, what?
Which is kind of a long time. I feel like
this is blowing my mind.
That's pretty long.
Yeah.
And apparently they met through friends. I don't know if they met through friends in Minnesota. I feel like not. Probably in LA.
Is she from Minnesota?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I
Definitely LA.
Probably on Raya or something.
Yeah.
And they're just saying met through friends. But maybe they really did just meet through friends.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
My thing though is what a glow up for Jordyn Woods.
To go from Minneapolis.
Courtside in Minneapolis.
To Courtside in New York City.
Maybe next to Spike Lee. I mean, who knows?
People, when the Knicks were terrible, still went to be seen courtside at a Knicks game.
We need a whole deep dive, I think, about the culture and significance of being courtside at a Knicks game or a Lakers game. I feel like those are the biggest.
And I have never, we should try to do it as an immersive experience. I've never sat courtside. I'm going to be honest. I'm absolutely terrified to sit courtside at a basketball game. Have you ever sat courtside?
I have never sat courtside. I've walked on a basketball court before, but I've never sat courtside.
Right. I've sat courtside when they're warming up and I'm at a game.
Right.
Reporting.
But you never sat there.
But I've never sat there for the game. I'm terrified, Madeline, because what if they fall onto you? What if a ball hits you in the face? What if I spill my drink all over the floor, which happened at a Knicks game?
Oh, I'm sure it happens often.
Someone spilled glitter somehow on the floor. I don't understand.
That feels weird. That feels like a glitter bomb.
Yeah, it feels
remember when they would have those goopy there were these goopy squishy blobs you could stress relievers, and they were filled with glitter and goop.
Oh yeah,
maybe someone had one of those because they were stressed about their team, and it just popped and exploded on the court.
Without a doubt.
We'll have to find the source of the glitter.
That's what happened. I could be making this whole thing up too. Well, it might not even have been the Knicks, and it might not have been glitter, but I think it was.
Oh well. But no, I think we do need to experience a courtside.
I'll face my fears.
I will do it.
To sit courtside at a Knicks game. But first I'm going to need to buy a bunch of new clothes.
But here's what I'll also say is I feel like my biggest fear of sitting courtside is having to walk across the court to a seat that you would argue would be the best seat, would be center court on the court.
Right.
That sounds like my nightmare.
Oh.
I'm give me a corner seat on the court.
I don't want to be front and center that whole broadcast.
That's too much.
That's terrifying.
Too much. I don't need to be in the background of an ESPN shot.
That is literally my nightmare.
My nightmare.
Also, here's the problem. If we go to a Knicks game and we sit courtside, I am a Celtics fan. I refuse to put on Knicks gear. Well, my husband is a Knicks fan.
Why would we wear gear?
Oh, right. It's about the fit.
It's about the fit. When you're sitting
and not
courtside,
a uniform fit.
No. You're not wearing a company mandated shirt. Okay. Maybe a baseball hat. Maybe.
Here's what we would
That's
do.
Cheap.
Yeah, but I'm not wearing a Knicks hat.
Okay, fine. I'll wear one.
You can wear one. And but I'm going to wear sports gossip merch, which we're going to have by then.
100%.
Maybe.
Okay, that's a good idea. We can wear that.
We'll promote the show.
We'll be
like human billboards.
Yeah, we'll be in a background of a Getty photo of some Instagram model sitting courtside.
Which everybody knows is the best way to market a podcast.
That is the best way. Number one way. That's what everyone recommends. All the big wigs.
Yes, all the big wigs.
But yeah, I think the biggest winner of this entire situation is Jordyn Woods.
It is. Because when Cat Dog was traded, I refuse to call him anything else. When he was traded, he tweeted ... This man was drafted by the Timberwolves. He has only ever played for the Timberwolves. Last year, he played with the star of the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, who's only 22. And Cat had been, the star of the team, but he was willing to sort of let Ant be the shining star.
Right.
And it was like a buddy comedy when they would do press conferences. It was so much fun.
Aww.
But also, Cat is known for being sort of soft. Like people or like not totally authentic all the time. Like his voice will change. Like people just feel sort of like I went to get a coffee with Tyler the morning after the Knicks traded. And the first thing the guy at the coffee shop said was not like, what can I get you? Tyler's wearing a Knicks hat and the guy goes, how do you feel about Cat? And Tyler was like, I mean, I'm still processing it. And the guy was, I hate Cat. So like,
oh my God.
That's what Karl-Anthony Towns is walking into in New York.
Why do they hate him so much? Just because he changes his accent like Madonna in press conferences?
Yeah, he's seen as like not tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar New York basketball. Which just goes to show you that
he lived in Minnesota. They have pretty bad winters, and I would argue worse weather than in New York with the way global warming is going.
You are so not wrong, but like this just goes to show you that what like diehard sports fans who would think the word like gossip is silly, they are fully making opinions. The Knicks, Karl-Anthony Towns is a great basketball player.
Right.
He's a center. The Knicks did not have a good center because they lost one to the Thunder because they couldn't afford to pay him. And then Mitchell Robinson, their other center, is injured until maybe January. So it's like, you say you hate this guy, but also like, what was your plan for the team?
Well, the guy working at the coffee shop was going to sub in. Well, of course.
So silly.
Obviously.
Oh my God. Obviously.
Hello.
Wow.
Anyways. Well, I hope the best for Kat.
I do too.
Jordyn Woods. And I cannot wait to see her sitting courtside.
Do you think she'll probably, I could see her
great.
bringing Kylie Jenner.
Stop.
I could, as like a reconciliation.
I could see it. Because they've already, I think, been in photos together on Instagram. I think they've already cut. I don't even think it's a soft launch. I think they've like hard launched that they're friends again. I don't know how close they are, but that would be amazing. It'd be great content for this podcast, but it would be good.
Do it for our show.
Just for that alone. Just for us.
Just for us.
Selfish.
Is that a movie?
What?
Just for us?
Well, there's a TV show called This Is Us.
Oh, sorry. That's what I'm thinking.
So, just for us.
What I'm thinking.
I don't know. We're gonna have to check afterwards.
Real quick, while we're on the subject of Knicks courtside,
Spike
Lee, the director, is like the biggest Knicks fan in the world. He was wearing an amazing Jalen Brunson uniform outfit turned into a puffy vest all last year with his orange sunglasses.
Wait, that's
classic. Chic. It was so chic. He looks amazing.
Okay.
And he'll often like get into fights with players of opposing teams. Like he's such a diehard fan. And he was at the New York Liberty game where they played the Aces. And he started talking trash to Kelsey Plum, who's on the Aces. And afterwards, which was just great because when you see that kind of passion about women's sports and it's Spike Lee, it's just fantastic. Plum said, I can't say exactly what was said, but I told him that he should talk louder. But it was all well and fun and really cool that he's here. Even last round was really cool. I was here. I know he's a big sports fan.
So it's all fun and games.
It's all fun
he's
and games.
He's not being serious.
No.
He's not. And he's also like...
Well, he could be being serious, but he's not saying anything too mean if that was her response.
I mean, it also sounds like, I'm guessing he can kind of say whatever he wants since he is a staple of courtside New York sporting events, that I feel like he can kind of say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Within reason.
To a point. Right.
Yeah. Within reason.
Right.
I feel like that's appropriate trash talking.
Yeah.
Especially if she's responding, saying she was fine with it.
Totally.
I mean, I feel like it's probably like a badge of honor to be like, Spike Lee trash talked me in New York.
We should be so like if we sit courtside and Spike Lee trash talks us, then we've definitely
he'll trash talk us like walking across the court because we're like walking at the wrong moment or something.
100%.
You know what it's like when you go see a play and you're a little bit late. Charlotte knows this because I was running late to a play recently. This was a sport. Can I just talk about this for a second?
Yeah.
Charlotte and I were doing like a kind of test.
No, we were trying to record the first episode.
We were trying to record.
It was clear that it was like not as good as we could do it.
It took us like 2 hours to figure out the sound. I hope it sounds good if you're listening. But we're doing this ourselves, like we said. And I get a text from my friend and she's like, I'm on the way. And I'm like, on the way to what?
When I say that the color drained out of your face, you looked like you'd seen a ghost.
I saw a ghost, and a ghost of something I forgot to put in my Google Calendar. And that ghost was a play that I had purchased tickets to like 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
Forgot about it, which is so unlike me and out of character.
Completely.
Type A, put everything in the Google Cal type of gal. And so I look at Charlotte and I go, I think I'm about to go to a play right now.
And I was like,
which is very jarring.
Well, I was like, go to the play because we know that we can do better than this. And we've been futzing with tech for so long that we're exhausted and we don't know how to talk anymore.
Correct. Yeah. So it was all for the best, but I made it to my destination in 30 minutes flat, which if you know New York City and the subways, it is shocking I made it there on time. I made it there exactly as the play was like about to start, like with 4 minutes to spare.
You know what's also beautiful is
It was shocking.
That was the day that Eric Adams was indicted.
Yes.
And so Eric Adams is New York.
His legacy.
His last act was to give you a perfect subway ride.
It really was a perfect subway ride when, if you know anything about New York City subways, it's not always perfect.
You left and I was like, all right. Well, because Broadway is the one thing you can't be late.
You can't be late.
They just won't let you in the
That's
door.
what I'm saying. So I'm like, is it like that, where if you're showing up late and you're kind of like futzing around trying to get to your seat and it's like kind of awkward, people are noticing that you're like a little bit late. Courtside at a game, like if you're running late, I feel like it looks so strange if you just like walk across a broadcast. I notice it when people are just like walking in a little late with like 2 drinks and a popcorn.
You know what they do though? They have special attendants who hold you back until it is time, until there's a break and you can go to your seat.
Okay.
But it
like tennis. That's like tennis.
Yeah. Okay. Like tennis. Right. But it does. One of my pet peeves, one of my like dumb hot take pet peeves about sports is that if you are sitting courtside and you are not in your seat when the second half starts, that's rude.
Yeah.
Even it's like saying I have so much money that I can afford to not be at part of the game that I'm paying like $10,000 to be at.
Correct. It's rude.
I don't like it.
And if you're going to do that, if you are going to do it though, call us up.
Yeah. If
we'll be seat fillers like at an award show. Wouldn't that be funny if they
do that more?
They actually should have that. Wait, put the interns in, like let them do it.
Yeah, and you can sign up to be a seat filler, and if you get called, they bring you out from backstage.
Wait, that would be so fun.
I've been reporting on sports for like years and years, and I still have trouble describing like the tunnel. I guess it's a tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
But like then there's a whole back.
Yeah.
The people sometimes say the bowels of the stadium, which I absolutely hate. So I'm just gonna call it backstage.
We're not gonna say that. No. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, one day we'll be courtside and we can experience all the awkwardness that comes, and maybe a Spike Lee spotting. Who knows?
I can't wait.
Okay. Speaking of WNBA adjacent content.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw the news, but Cameron Brink, the Los Angeles Sparks star, is engaged.
These pictures, it looks like she got engaged in Paris because they're in front of the Eiffel Tower, unless they're in Vegas.
No. I mean, I honestly would love that.
Me too.
I would love that, but no, she doesn't seem like a Vegas proposal type of gal.
No,
she's very chic.
She's incredible.
I've said chic, I think 3 times in this episode.
Have you?
I think so.
I haven't noticed.
Well, anyways, she got engaged at the Shangri-La Paris Hotel after Cameron attended the Balenciaga show.
Okay.
Because it's Paris Fashion Week right now.
That's incredibly cool.
And apparently, according to, I think, People magazine, she had no idea that her longtime boyfriend was going to be in Paris. He had just started his 5th year as a graduate student in Stanford's computer science program.
Oh my God.
As a graduate student, unclear. Yes. Well, whatever. I should fact check this a little bit more. And he told her that he had work to do on the West Coast. So that it was a surprise. Which I love.
Oh, amazing.
They've been dating for almost 4 years.
Okay.
And they met while they were both at Stanford. His name is, I believe, Ben Felter. Is that right?
Yeah.
And obviously Cameron played basketball there. And he was a rower at Stanford.
See, looking at pictures of this guy, I was like, who does this remind me of?
Who?
He's one of the Winklevi twins.
Stop.
From the early days of Facebook. That's rude.
Don't put him in that category.
I won't. But he is tall and blonde, and he's a rower, and he's from Palo Alto. So it feels, but no. It looks amazing. She looks gorgeous. It's sort of looking at these pictures of them. They're so attractive. It's sort of like staring at the sun.
It's crazy.
I was like, I can't look for too long.
It is, and they're also just both so tall.
Yes,
so tall.
So tall.
Like he has to be. I mean, how tall is she? What, 6'4" probably?
Yeah,
6'3".
He's got to be at least 6'5".
At least,
right?
I mean, he's a giant. Those children, if they decide to have children, aren't going to be superhuman.
Volleyball, rowing, basketball, take your pick.
Everything.
Also, this just goes to reinforce my belief that like athlete timelines or like athlete lives and time for athletes is not the same as it is for mortals. Like I had no business. They both graduated in 2024, I believe.
Yeah.
I had no business even thinking about getting married a year after college.
No, it is.
And for them, it's like she was hurt this season, so I'm sure they grew closer as he helped her because she tore her ACL and her season was over, her rookie year.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just like, you know what, this is it, and I know it.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe he's like a good stable force. I feel like she's like blowing up.
Yeah.
Not that he's not. I mean, he's doing computer science, and maybe we'll start an app that rivals Facebook or something. Schmashbook.
Yeah.
And he really will be like a Winklevoss twin.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
But it does feel like that they're like, we're locking this down now.
Yeah.
Both of them. They're like, this is it.
We know.
We're in it. We're both about to pop off.
Also, they look too good together to ever break up.
I'm like, Cameron Brink, I feel like could date anyone, but he just seems like the right fit. I don't know him, obviously.
We don't know either of them, but it looks really good. I have a question for you.
Good. Yes.
About this, I saw the People magazine article.
Yeah.
And People magazine, I believe, is sort of famously like, you give them a press release and they'll like reprint most of it.
Yes.
So does this mean that Cameron and Ben have PR people?
100%.
So
at least she does.
Okay.
I don't know about him.
What do you think the operation behind her at this point in her career? Because she's definitely already making $1 billion off endorsements.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously has an agent, I would assume.
Yeah, and New Balance is like,
that commercial that will not stop playing. New Balance, if you want to give us money, we'll take it, obviously. But can I give some feedback, some creative feedback? That one commercial on League Pass. They need some new commercials. I need some variety. I'll buy a pair of New Balance shoes. In fact, I own a pair.
You wear them.
I'll buy a second pair. But I need a new commercial. Them repeating that audio in my ear, every single commercial break.
They also added to it. They added tennis players
but
to
it's
it.
like the same commercial, though.
I know.
Give us a new one.
Give us a new one.
Give us a new one. Hire us.
We'll have some creative ideas.
Yeah, we'll write a new commercial.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And it'll just be Madeline sprinting to catch a train to make it to a play on time.
I mean, I would watch
You were wearing New Balances.
I actually was wearing New
Balances.
You were
literally wearing New Balances.
So really, New Balance, if you're listening, sponsor my pod.
Also, New Balance, Boston company. Grew up outside of Boston and Maine. And Cooper Flagg, the projected #1 pick in the NBA draft next year, is from Maine. And he signed with New Balance because he loved the Maine store. And
Yes. Anyways.
Synergy. We call that brand synergy.
Synergy. Love some synergy. No, but what I was going to say was she obviously has an agent. She's in those commercials. Yeah. She does have a stylist, and I know that because I interviewed her stylist for my newsletter in Personal Towel.
That was great. She does amazing work.
Yeah,
too.
It's like impeccable taste, and it totally fits her. I feel like sometimes I feel like athletes, when they're styled, it just does not fit who they are, and I feel like Cameron's stylist really hit the nail on the head, and she really like looks like herself, but just like a chic, elevated version of herself. I said chic again. We're not editing it out, but I do feel like maybe she has like a assistant also, I would guess, for scheduling.
Wouldn't that be nice? What do you think it would feel like to have an assistant?
Could you imagine?
No. I was thinking that today. I was like trying to keep track of everything I had to do and like all of my stuff. And I was like, what if there was just someone telling me? Be like, here's your 3:00.
Maybe eventually we'll have an assistant.
He can only, dare to dream. Am I right?
Dare to dream.
I love that proposal. It was happy news.
Yeah, it was great. Congrats to the happy couple. We got to talk about something that happened on Saturday.
Do you want to? Are you okay? Have you processed
It's on the list. I agreed to talk about it.
We don't have to spend much time here. We'll breeze through it.
Okay.
But I purposely did not text you at the end of the Georgia-Alabama game because, in my opinion, there are a few things worse than getting a text from someone when your team loses, when they are not a fan of that team, being like, sorry. And you're like, you can't feel my pain right now.
You have no idea.
Can you explain the end of the game?
Well, let's explain the whole game because Georgia was down about 7,000 points to 0.
It was like in 3 to 24.
It was not good. Yes. It was like when we pay a team $1 million to come and it's like Tech, State, County, University. They're like, that's not a real school. Anyways, we're playing in Alabama. Nick Saban was there because isn't he like announcing?
Yeah, he's an analyst for ESPN now.
Okay.
He was the coach of Alabama. He retired. Now I believe it's Kellen Moore who was at Washington. See, this is
the new coach.
This is the stuff that's just in my brain.
That's crazy because what's in my brain is just thinking about his car commercial. There's a Nick Saban's in this car commercial that if anyone who watches college football would remember, it's like, I think it's for Dodge or something like that. And it just plays every single weekend during any Alabama
so much. Game. Also,
so
Kellen
much.
Moore is not, the Kellen Moore is a coach for the Eagles. So that's just like my wires are getting crossed.
Okay. Anyways, so Alabama's winning.
DeBoer.
Okay.
And Kellen, that's basically the same.
That's kind of close.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Anyways, Georgia was down 7,000-0 in my mind. And we ended up losing the game, but the ending of the game was just so bizarre. And I don't know if you are an expert on this, but it did feel like a very strange ending that would only happen in a college game between quarterbacks who are college students ultimately. They're not full. I mean, they're adults, yes, but they're also still kind of like a big children in some way because they're still like in college. Right. I was not really an adult in college. Let's be clear. And it ended on Georgia's like coming back, and I was like, oh my god, are we gonna win this game? Which I was like, no way. I'm like, really? We actually gonna win this? We score a touchdown in one play, like one drive. Is that a drive?
Yes, a drive down the field.
I thought a drive was like the whole 4 stops they make. The 4 moves along the way.
Yeah. Well, it's however many stops along the way it takes to get to the end zone.
But it was literally 1.
Yes.
What would you call that?
A short
drive? So a drive around the corner.
It was a long, short drive.
It was like when you circle around the block one time to find parking.
Yes.
So that's what it was like. Okay. Yeah. So Georgia scores a touchdown. And I'm like, oh my God, I think we were down by like 1 touchdown at that point, maybe.
And at this point, there's maybe a minute and a half left in the game. So it's looking like there's a chance Georgia can win this.
Yes. And so then Alabama gets the ball back, and I'm like, oh my God, they just need to stop them. And like, simply stop Alabama, which is not a sentence that really rolls off the tongue when you know how Alabama's very good, just for context. Yeah. They score a touchdown also on a short drive around the block, which I was like, what is happening? But it felt like something that would only happen between 2 college student quarterbacks. Like it felt like very, not immature is the wrong word, but just like 2 kids just kind of like doing stuff. Whereas I feel like in the NFL that wouldn't happen. I don't know. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong. It's much more likely that you have crazy swings like that in college football where you just have 2 guys like slinging it down the field one after another. The defense, both sides are, especially at the end of a game, the defenses are exhausted.
Right.
And so, they're not made up of pros. I mean, they're essentially pros at this point, but the NFL is impossible to get to basically, and only if you're the best of the best. But so it is more likely that is a college football ending.
So if you had to predict what would have happened if that was NFL teams, what would you think would have happened?
I would have thought so Georgia got the ball back after Alabama scored, and Georgia could win if they scored. I mean, it's hard. I think it's more likely that when Georgia scores, Alabama gets the ball back, it's more likely that an NFL team would get a stop there. They would stop. They would not. But again, it happens.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks-Lions game on Monday night was very good, and sort of things like that were happening. But
okay.
For the most part, yes.
Well, sadly, the game ended with Georgia losing because Alabama intercepted a touchdown. Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
Intercepted a touchdown and we lost. And it was really sad. But also, I actually was saying to my husband that I wish almost that we had just lost 30-3 or something, because it felt like it was like you're getting so close and you think you have a chance. And then to have it ripped out from under you is the most Georgia fan thing to happen.
1000%.
That is what it's like being a Georgia fan. For anyone who watched that game, because it was obviously nationally televised, that is what it's like to be a Georgia fan.
When they won, was it 2022? They hadn't won a championship in 40 years.
Yes.
So there's been recent success that I think can fool some people into thinking being a Georgia fan is fun. It's not. It's that. And it's not, they're never going to make it easy. They're not going to make it painless.
No.
They're not going to just get blown out. They are going to come very close and then break your heart.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with the class. That was really brave.
Yeah. I'm
being
vulnerable. It does. It helps me work through it.
Yeah.
Because, who knows? We'll see how things go the rest of the season.
Yeah. There's another college football thing, which you put in our Google Doc here, something that made me laugh when I saw it. Just, can you explain Arch Manning to me?
Yes.
Help
me, because I understand he's related to the Mannings in some way.
Mm-hmm.
The son of one of them.
Yep.
And he's the quarterback for Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
He seems good.
Yes.
How is that possible?
So
help me understand.
So Arch Manning is Cooper Manning's son. People are probably familiar with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Peyton was the quarterback of the Colts and the Broncos, won a couple Super Bowls. Eli Manning was a quarterback for the Giants, won two Super Bowls, both against Tom Brady. I've blocked this out because those were like the worst games I've ever watched as a Patriots fan, but they won enough that I can't complain about it. So it's a whole thing anyway. But they had an older brother, Cooper, who had injury issues or something happened when he was at Ole Miss and he couldn't play football anymore. But he was, the lore of the Mannings has it that Cooper Manning was actually the best Manning at football. So when his son, it comes time for him to choose where he's going to go to school, and he's an incredible high school football player. It was like the Arch Manning sweepstakes. It was all anyone was talking about on sports media forever. It was like, is he going to go to Ole Miss like his dad? And I was actually at an Ole Miss game when Cooper Manning was there visiting. And I have a really creepy selfie of me with him right behind him being like, there's Arch. I mean, Arch Manning, not Cooper Manning. So he decided to go to Texas, the University of Texas. And when Arch Manning decided to go to Texas, Texas was not very good.
Yeah.
And the joke with Texas is people always say, is Texas back? Because Texas was once great and they have since been very bad. Texas has been getting better. They had a quarterback called named Quinn Ewers. He got hurt. Arch has been playing and he has been balling out. He has been living up to the hype, which is a very rare thing when you've got that much weight behind your name. And also Texas has since switched conferences and joined the SEC, and everyone was like, Texas is just going to get absolutely destroyed once they're in the SEC. And Madeline, they're ranked number 1
above Georgia and Alabama.
Let me Google that real quick.
I love this story because I don't really follow Texas football, but I have been paying attention to Texas football as of late. 1, because my parents moved to Austin.
Yes.
But 2, and maybe more importantly than my parents moving, is the fact that Mr. Glenn Powell from Texas. And if you are a fan of movies and cinematic events, like this recent Netflix movie that I'm forgetting the name of.
Twisters.
Twisters. But what was the kind of rom-commy?
With Sydney Sweeney.
No.
Just
that one
for
too.
You.
Anyone but
you and me?
Anything but you.
My house or yours?
We sound like an AI bot coming up with the name of a movie.
Anyone but you is what it was called.
Anyone but you, but no, there's this other Netflix one where he plays a guy in disguise.
Oh, Hitman,
yes. That movie, jaw on the floor.
Really?
That man.
I started it and I didn't like it, so I stopped.
I think it's a funny movie. I think the movie's good. I don't think the movie itself is actually amazing, but looking at Glenn Powell for, a little over 90 minutes. However long this is.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the next Ryan Gosling.
He's so charming.
He's so charming. He's from Texas, and he has now been on the field at a fair share of Texas games. And he seems like he's almost kind of taking over the spot of Matthew McConaughey, who was like the face of Texas football.
Yes.
And just like the face of Texas.
Yes. Oh, I love Glenn Powell should talk to us about this.
I would love it. Glenn Powell, please.
Glenn Powell, be our first guest on the Sports Gossip Podcast.
We can talk about Texas. We can talk about your workout routine.
Pretend I didn't just say that I didn't love Hitman.
Yeah. You didn't hear any of it. You didn't hear any of my fangirling. Glenn Powell. Yeah. No. Keep it in.
Yeah. We're an honest podcast.
So that's what I understand about Texas is mostly just Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Also, I was wrong, and I hate to break this to you, Alabama, because of the ending of that game, is now number 1 and Texas is number 2.
Wow. And Georgia's 3? Or are we like...
I sure hope so.
Oh, no.
But I closed out of the tab.
Listen, there's been plenty of times where we haven't been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. So I will take, honestly, any ranking.
Georgia's 5.
5? Who's 4?
5. 4 is 3 is Ohio State. 4 is Tennessee.
That is just really sick.
Well, because they're all undefeated.
Oh, okay.
And Georgia is now defeated once.
Well, let's hope one of them gets defeated.
There you go.
That is our hope, which I guess they will, because schedule-wise they will. But anyways, so that's all I really know about Texas.
Yep.
And I like this Arch Manning story.
Yeah. No,
I think it's interesting because I think Nepo babies in general.
Okay.
I would argue he's a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Nepo family member also. They get a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Dakota Johnson. I mean, is she a great actress? Debatable. But some of these Nepo babies in the entertainment industry just won't leave us alone.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Right.
They're rampant. It's kind of annoying. And you're like, they really did kind of cut the line, I think, in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
when there are more talented actors or writers or directors who maybe could have gotten funding or been cast in something had it not been for their parent winning an Oscar.
Yes.
And I don't feel like in sports, like the Nepo baby discussion has evolved to the same way that it has in entertainment. And I feel like it's more valid based on their actual skills, because ultimately their skills on the field are what determines their success. Mostly, I mean, you know, we could talk about Bronny and discussions about that. And yes, they have access to more resources and training
Mhm.
and, you know, physical trainers, et cetera,
Mhm.
to make them really good. But at the end of the day, it does still matter what their, like, you know, inherent ability is.
Totally. It's also fascinating because the amount of money in sports would not allow a Nepo baby to simply exist as like taking up someone else's spot on a team unless they could afford to do so.
Yes,
because
exactly.
the players are the money.
Right.
And like Steph Curry, people don't realize this. His dad, Del Curry, was in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know, Klay Thompson, even his dad was in the NBA. Like there are a lot of second generation Nepo babies. But at the end of the day, like Arch Manning, he didn't play for a while because
Right.
Quinn Ewers, the quarterback before him, was really good. Once he got in, he's been great, but that's just because Quinn Ewers got hurt. It's not because his last name is Manning.
Right.
So I think that there is a merit-based aspect of it. Like someone can make a really shitty movie.
Yeah.
And like it's sure you could argue that like the money is as tied to it, but executives in the entertainment business don't think that way. And they're like, oh, well, it has a famous name on it. It'll be good. If it's bad, no one's going to watch it.
Yeah.
But in sports, if it's bad, if they're bad, you lose.
Yeah.
And then everybody it's very black or white.
Yeah.
It is quantifiable.
I think justice for sports Nepo babies.
There you go.
Is the takeaway here. Well, I'm curious to see how he does. And honestly, if Georgia really just screws up this season, which I obviously hope they don't, maybe I'll root for Texas.
Okay.
I do have some roots there with my parents. So,
you know, I've been to a bunch of Texas games.
Are they fun?
Yeah, I really like Texas.
Okay.
I actually hung out with Bevo, the mascot, the Longhorn.
Fun.
Bevo, this is a fun fact. Bevo lives in a pen with another male Longhorn. A big cow with the horns. That's what a Longhorn is.
What?
He has a quote roommate, and I'm like, it's 2024. Like we could just call it what it is. Like Bevo has a life partner.
Wait, and this is like part of the narrative around this mascot?
No, I just know that because I went to the ranch where Bevo lives. I don't think people know that. They might not even have wanted me to say that, but
does he live there full time?
Yes, he lives on the ranch, and they have a group of Texas students called the Silver Spurs, who are all like great looking, in shape, buff young men who would not look out of place at a Chippendales wearing like white tight jeans. And they also are the ones who set off the cannon every time someone scores at Texas, which I have stood on the sideline near the cannon, not realize it was going to go up, just like freaked out. There's a video of me just freaking out when the cannon goes up. But yeah, also women aren't allowed to be Silver Spurs, I don't think, and I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all,
unless they have changed their ways.
That's messed up, Texas. Let's fix that.
I have a soft spot for Texas. That can be our side piece team.
I think it should be, and maybe we also need to go to a Texas game.
I would love that. They're really fun.
That'd be fun. We can meet Glenn Powell and recruit him to come on the pod.
Kevin Durant was on the sideline once. People forget that he went there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, anyways, I guess we're taking a road trip to Texas.
I love it. Should we run through a few things real quick?
Yes, please.
All right. I need to get something off my chest.
Oh, no. Okay.
Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield are in a beef. Baker Mayfield. Okay.
Okay.
I've been so excited to tell you about this.
That is so random.
So Tom Brady, obviously, I think everybody knows who he is, but in the interest of not leaving anyone out, he was the quarterback for the New England Patriots.
No stone unturned.
No stone unturned. And then he was the Patriots for.
I mean, he kind of was the Patriots. Let's be real. He was.
So then he was the Patriots for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he won a Super Bowl with them.
Okay.
And now he is a broadcaster in the booth, and people did not love his debut game I think he's since gotten somewhat better, but this was all very controversial because he took the spot of former tight end Greg Olson, who is very, very good at announcing games. So people were mad that Fox Sports is paying Tom Brady $375 million to broadcast games.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Greg Olson, I don't know you, but I'm sure I've heard your voice, and I believe that you're very good at your job. Ultimately, if Tom Brady wants to take your job, really, what are you going to do?
Nothing.
I feel bad for him, but I'm also like, it's Tom Brady.
Right.
The greatest of all time.
Right.
Right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the greatest of all. No, unequivocally.
Yeah, okay, of course. What did you think? They weren't going to hire him? Like, duh.
I know. And Greg has said that himself. He's like, I get it. I'll try to do my best merit-wise, but like beyond that, I can't really control.
I hope he gets another job.
I think he's still announcing for Fox.
Oh,
I hope he gets one of the primetime spots.
Yeah.
Greg's great. So, but here's why this matters, because Baker Mayfield, this man was the number 1 pick overall in the 2017 draft. I don't remember. And he played at Oklahoma. And when he was at Oklahoma, he rubbed people the wrong way in the Rose Bowl game against Georgia.
Oh, yes.
He grabbed his nether regions and planted an Oklahoma flag at the Rose Bowl. And this was a time that, this was before name, image, and likeness, before players could make money, before there was a little bit more leniency with social media and how much of a personality you could have. People were livid. So he gets drafted. He goes to the Browns. He's very bad on the Browns. He keeps a list of media members who are like on his bad side. He goes full.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
recently, he'd been a backup. He went to the Bucks. And he'd sort of started laying low. We hadn't heard much drama from Baker Mayfield until recently.
Oh God.
When he went on a podcast, which is always where the dirt happens. So, but not on here.
Not on
because
here.
We're respectful.
Yes, we are respectful
podcast.
Adult podcasts.
Here
Adult podcasters. I didn't like that.
That sounds like,
I didn't
yeah.
like that.
Well, I mean, I see what you're trying to do. So,
Anyways.
So Tom Brady retires.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is now the quarterback for the Bucks. Here's what he says on the podcast Casa de Club with Corey Kluber and Tyler Casagrande. I don't know who they are. Sorry. Here's what Mayfield said. The building was a little bit different with Tom in there. Obviously, playing-wise, Tom is different. He had everybody dialed in, high-strung environment. So I think everybody was pretty stressed out. They wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football for guys who weren't having as much fun.
Oh, please.
So Baker Mayfield says this. On the broadcast, Tom Brady says, I'm sorry, I thought being stressed out was not having any Super Bowl rings.
Oh.
So then
Shots fired.
After the game, Baker Mayfield at the press conference is asked about this. And he says, I think what I said was just taken out of context. I appreciate Tom ribbing me, but Madeline, there is no way you can take that out of context.
You can't take that
That's pretty in context.
That's very much in context.
Also, Brady, it's like, yeah, of course everybody was stressed out. Like the greatest of all time is there and he's 45 trying to win another Super Bowl. Like it's not a chill sitch.
No. Pressure's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The vibes are probably not great.
The vibes are
for valid reasons, I would argue.
Right. So I just really loved that because we got vintage Baker Mayfield and we got competitive, like cyborg football man, Tom Brady, who's basically saying, he's like, do you want me to come play right now? Like, I'll come back.
Right. I'll take your job.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, and he would take his job.
He would.
Baker Mayfield sounds like he needs a little bit more media training. It sounds like he got media trained after all the controversies around him when he was younger, and then he got unmedia trained at some point in the process.
Here's when he got unmedia trained, when he started playing well and started feeling himself.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then he's getting cocky.
And then he's like, oh, I came in to fix the vibes after Tom Brady. Like, buddy.
Can you imagine the conversations in the room with like ownership or executives at the company of Bucks after he said that? Because they're like, oh no.
They're like, oh my God,
we got to go to
Brady. They big time crisis mode.
We're also hiring Olivia Pope. We need to fix this. Bring in the fixer.
Imagine if they did say that to him. If they were like, hey, Baker, come on, bring the joy, bring the fun. Like,
it would never happen.
Maybe there was some form of that conversation, but Also, it's not something you say out loud.
You don't say. You
and
keep
I'm
it to
so
yourself.
glad he did. I'm so glad he did. Baker Mayfield, please never stop talking. This is what
Never
I
stop
live.
talking.
This is the drama I live for.
It's all I need in my life. It feeds me.
It is.
Wow, that is very juicy.
Thank you.
Something that happened in another sport that was juicy in a very different way. That I don't know. I'm sure you saw, but the Chicago White Sox had a historically awful season. And if you don't know who the Chicago White Sox are, they are a baseball team and they are really bad. They are, I mean, I don't know a lot about baseball, but what I do know is that they're bad, and so bad that like no one attends their games at all.
Madeline, it is not an exaggeration to say they're the worst baseball team of all time.
Yeah. I think they have the worst records since the 1800s or something, like any team since the 1800s or something like that.
Yeah,
I saw something.
Yeah.
Anyways, the owner of the team, after they obviously didn't make the postseason,
it would have been
they're
wild
not going to the playoffs. I mean, that'd be shocked. I mean, I would honestly kind of love that.
Same.
If somehow it's like some weird fluke and everyone else just like collapsed and they just like scooted on in there.
Yeah, like the math didn't work.
It would be very Nepo baby of them to do that. Like if they just kind of got a free pass.
The Chicago White Sox are the Nepo babies of Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Boom.
That is the quote of the week. Anyways, the owner basically released what I can only describe as a very highly designed notes app apology.
Oh my God.
To their fans, basically being like, we're sorry we suck so much. Which I think adds fuel to the fire and doesn't help the situation.
No, because you're acknowledging the fact that you sucked. And instead of an apology, fans just want you to do something and make the team better.
Exactly. Like figure it out. It's your job. You own the team.
You know my favorite owner note of all time?
What?
When LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers to go to the Heat, Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, wrote a letter in Comic Sans font.
I do remember
to the public saying that LeBron James sucked, which is wild because LeBron James ended up going back to Cleveland.
It's also just iconic for some reasons. And just as a side note, I remember vividly watching The Decision on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what The Decision is, you can look it up on YouTube. But
Just
it's
Google
basically like it was live. I think it was live.
It was
a live televised event, I would like to call it.
Yes.
On ESPN, where LeBron announces that he's leaving Cleveland to go to Miami.
I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And he ended up playing with Dwayne Wade, married to Gabrielle Union, and Chris Bosh. Have I told you my Chris Bosh story? No.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, Chris Bosh is, I think, a big nerd. He's just like a nerdy guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't play anymore.
Right.
He and I were both at this weird event that was sponsored by NASA. And it was kind of like a media day thing. I think just to get people into talking about space and like
space.
education around space.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love
Who
space?
doesn't love space?
Love space. Anyways, and I show up at this thing and Chris Bosh is there with his wife. And he was fully just on the tour like the rest of us. I'm shocked. Everyone else is like, who is this tall man? And I was like, that's Chris Bosh.
That's amazing.
From the LeBron James era Miami Heat. Iconic. And the best part of the entire thing was, of course, he like participated in everything, which was so lovely. But he got on the bus with us, like the tour bus, essentially, and like was just crouched in a seat because he is very tall.
Oh my God.
And it was just amazing. I was like, Chris Bosh.
He was just a man of the people.
Man of the people who also just loves space. Anyways,
Chris Bosh, come talk about space with
I would
us.
love that.
Chris Bosh, come talk about space on the
I would
Sports
love
Gossip
that.
Show.
That'd be amazing. Anyways,
Madeline, I think that might be all we have time for today, but maybe we're going to be nuts and put out a bonus episode for paid subscribers.
I think we need to do that.
Because there are a few things we didn't get to, such as the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift update, which is actually mandated by us for us.
Yes.
So maybe we'll just do that.
I think we should do that.
All right.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, or on Substack or whatever platform, we appreciate all of the support we've gotten, and be sure to like, rate, subscribe, follow. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to info@sportsgossipshow.com.
DM us. We want all of your questions. We want all of your suggestions. Also, if you've been telling your friends about us, thank you so much. And if you haven't, maybe send it to someone who might like it.
You never know.
Because we're trying to take this ship to the moon, baby.
Oh my. Okay. All right. Well, have a good day.
Okay, bye.